Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to have a look at the Tesla Model 3. So it was my birthday recently. We flew to Perth and we rented the Tesla Model 3, and I'm going to review it similar to the review that I did last year when I went to Perth, also for my birthday, and we reviewed the Polestar. You can see a little bit of footage of the Polestar here if you wanted to go back and have a look at that episode. But anyway, we've got the Model 3, which we rented through 60, the rental company. We picked it up from the Perth airport, and I was keen to drive the Tesla Model 3. I hadn't done so yet. My brother owns one, and he absolutely loves it. And you know, I'm going to buy an electric vehicle in the next couple of years, so I want to test as many as I can. Now we'll move on to the exterior firstly. I think the Tesla does look quite nice on the outside. They've managed to create quite a unique style of the car, so it looks pretty good. However, I have to concede that the Polestar, I think, looks much better. The Polestar looks just great from any angle, and it's a lot sort of squarer than what the Tesla is, you can see here, but I just think the Polestar still has it in the looks department. But that being said, it's by no means an ugly car, the Tesla. I quite enjoy the shape of it, and you know, the folding mirrors are great. The tires on it, you can see, I think look fantastic. Excellent grippy tires, although the wheels look pretty ordinary, I think. Now, one thing my wife and I didn't enjoy was we absolutely hated the door handles on it. We found them very awkward and, yeah, not very easy to open. I understand why they've done it, it's for aerodynamic reasons, but I think the future will be retractable handles for you know, the door handles in future. So, didn't like the door handles. But overall, the exterior, it's quite nice on the Tesla. I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10. Okay, moving on to the interior. Now, I do not like the interior of the Tesla. Both my wife and I didn't like it. I think it's very bland and uninteresting, but more on that in a minute. That you can see here, the car is very low, and both my wife and I struggled getting in and out of the car. You can see the ground clearance is very low, and as a result, the hip point is also very low. Now, if you're not sure what the hip point is, that's just the height of the seat in relation to your hip. Now, we're both in our 50s, my wife and I, and sadly, no matter how much I stretch, I'm just not as flexible as I used to be. So therefore, I do struggle to bend down and to get into the car. So yeah, that wasn't very good for my wife and I. But on a plus point, neither of us banged our heads on the car like we did on the Polestar last year. Now, the seats are very comfortable once you get into it. They're beautiful leather seats, and the interior console was also nice, but the rest of the car is pretty bland. There's plenty of room in the back seat there as well, and as you'll see in a minute with the tablet function, that was no issues at all. But on the whole, unfortunately, it's a pretty uninspiring cabin which neither of us liked. So I'm just giving the interior 5 out of 10. Okay, so let's look at the tablet. So, as most people are aware, most of the controls are done through the tablet. I won't do any detailed look at it today, just we'll touch on it. It's fairly easy to use. My wife enjoyed the little cameras which are picking up the cars and the bins as we drove along there. It was quite humorous. And I must confess, it wasn't as bad as I thought, having the speedometer there. Although I do prefer having a binnacle or a heads-up display. Now, I didn't feel the tablet was quite as vivid. Here is some of the BYD tablet on my wife's car which he just bought, and I do think that the colours and the dynamic of the screen is a lot better on the BYD. So I just found the tablet too was also a little bit bland as well. However, it was very responsive. The maps on it were absolutely excellent and very easy to use, and also the voice commands very easy to use. So I can't really fault the tablet in terms of its functionality. So I would give the tablet a solid 8 out of 10. So not quite as good as the BYD or the Polestar, but still good. Okay, next up, let's look at the boot. Well, much like the interior, I'm not a fan of the boot either. I mean, it's reasonably sized, and you can see here you've got the charging cable underneath there. However, my wife and I both struggled to put two suitcases in a backpack in the back. We ended up just putting one suitcase in the back seat. It just was too hard to load. Here's some footage of the Polestar, which was much easier to load luggage into last year. So we much prefer a hatchback or an SUV for loading. So yeah, the boot, unfortunately not great on the Tesla 3, I didn't think. So that's only getting also a 5 out of 10 from us. So onto the drivability and the ride of the car and how it performed. Well, this is really where the Tesla excels. It is really a super fun car to drive. It's really easy, it feels comfortable. The steering wheel is lovely, it's just the right size. It's very responsive, it's very quiet, and the acceleration is excellent. Let's have a look at some acceleration just here. So it's really a car that brings a smile to your face when you drive it. I mean, we were dragging off other cars on the freeway, having some fun with that. We had a mixture of freeway and back streets driving, and we got around 12 to 13 kilowatts per 100 kilometers, which, you know, is excellent economy as well, which I should also point out that Tesla's very good at. So once you're seated inside the car, it's really very comfortable, and the performance is excellent. So, you know, I can't fault that. That's, you know, another point where Tesla really excels the drivability. And it really just points out the fact that EVs are just so superior. Once you start driving EVs, really an ICE vehicle, you know, petrol and diesel car, just feels so heavy and sluggish, and I feel so outdated now that really their time has passed. And you know, once you get into an EV, you realize just how far superior they are in terms of drivability. So on the road, drivability and performance, a solid 9 out of 10. Okay, so that wraps up the review of the Tesla Model 3, which we rented. And you know, it might suit some people, this car. If you enjoy sedans and you have no issues with getting in and out, this may be a car for you. Certainly in terms of the range, the battery life, and you know, the performance, the Tesla really is a very good car. And you know, their battery technology is still marginally ahead of other car makers. Okay, thanks very much for watching today. Really appreciate it. Now, if you haven't already subscribed, we would also really appreciate the support. If you could hit that subscribe button, we'd really love that. We have a lot of great content coming up soon. I've got a bit of a backlog of stuff, so there's lots to look forward to. Alright, you guys take care out there, and we'll catch up very soon. Bye now.